Hi, my name is Graham Foxwell of Cedar Tree Mental Health and Wellbeing, and welcome to today's talk for Mental Health Awareness Week 2021. And today we're going to talk about why we as a society struggle with that word mental health, particularly around poor mental health or mental ill health. If you remember in my last video, we talked about normalizing society's attitudes and behaviours towards our mental health, and how we need to eliminate that stigma. We need to eliminate that stigma around poor mental health or mental ill health. And then I talked about making the call. We'll do that again at the end of this video. So it's that word stigma I'm going to be talking about today. So I have a question for you. What does that mean? What is stigma? What does the word stigma mean to you? Have a think about that for a second. What does it mean? Okay, let's have a look at what the Oxford English Dictionary has to say about it. I'm going to be looking just down here because I've got it written down here. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word stigma means this: it is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. Say that again. It is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. And then the synonyms underneath that is shame, disgrace, and dishonor. So it's not a nice word, is it? It's not a nice word, stigma. And we're using this word around mental health, and particularly poor or mental ill health. So mental health then. So we've learned a bit there about what stigma means. We understand what it means. It's not a nice word, but we're applying it to mental health. So what does the word mental health mean? You know, we're seeing it a lot more on TV, which is fantastic, and in media. We're having Mental Health Awareness Week this week, which is fantastic. But what is mental health? What does it mean? Let's have a look at the dictionary again. And according to the dictionary, it says it's a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. There's that word. Used that yesterday, didn't we? We used that word in the continuum. We have this continuum that has a good mental health at one end and poor mental health at the other end, and how we move along that continuum of it within our mental health, and then through support and therapy and medication we can move up and down that continuum of our mental health. And more importantly, or just as importantly, we have that well-being continuum. So there's two axes in that continuum. So we've got good mental health, poor mental health here, and then we have poor well-being and good well-being here. And that we need to work on both of those. So the actual mental health, particularly through clinical support and therapy, to work on that, and medication. But the well-being bit here is really important, that we need to get ourselves into a good well-being, that we can have poor mental health or severe mental ill health, but still have good well-being because we are managing that mental health well. Anyway, did that yesterday. Look at that video yesterday. So, and we're applying this stigma to mental health. Let's have another look at another statement, and this comes from The Who, and I don't mean the 60s, 70s pop group, because why would I be talking to them about mental health? I'll let you go with that one. No, we're talking about the World Health Organization, and we hear a lot of them at the moment. They're in the news a lot because they put out statements in reference to COVID and how we support each other and what we should be doing. So this is the World Health Organization and what they say about mental health. And according to them, it says mental health is defined as, mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to contribute to her or his community. Hopefully I'll put it up on the screen here. So I'll say that again. Mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to her or his community. Oh, fumbling the words today. So basically, it's about a person's well-being. It's that word we keep using, their well-being. It's about their happiness, their thoughts, emotions. It's about their safety, their welfare, their health, connectedness. How important is that right now, our connectedness with each other? It's about their hope in life. My favorite word. I love that word, hope. We need to bring hope to this world. So if mental health is all about these good things, why the hell do we have this stigma around it? Why do we have this stigma in our society today still? And why, bit of a sweeping statement, I know, but why is there more stigma for people like me, men? Why is that? So the Oxford English Dictionary and the WHO, very kind of them, gave us a few words associated with stigma and mental health. We have the shame, disgrace and dishonour, but there are plenty more words out there that we can associate with or attach to mental health when we're talking about mental health. In fact, there are hundreds. I did a Google search and there are over 700. In some of the courses that we run, we ask people to go off and write down all these words, all these negative words that they can think of associated, whether these words that they've used, not that they've used necessarily, but words that have been used at work, in the workplace, or down the pub with their mates, or on the football field or sports field, or in the playground when they were at school, or just inside, just words that you hear bandied around, whether people say them in jest or just in a negative way. These are words that are used, and you'd be surprised at what people come up with. There are hundreds and hundreds of words. And these are negative words. And these words are untrue. They're untrue. It's fake news. Now I want you to imagine you're wearing one of those sandwich boards that guys walk around the streets, and they're, got this words all over the front of it, and you're wearing one of these sandwich boards and you're walking around with these negative words written all over it. These negative words for everyone to see and to think and say and believe about you. Words like muppet, crazy, nut job, psycho, psychopath, basket case, bonkers, crackers, half-wit, simple, sicko, nut job, weirdo, mental case, loony, freak, retard, sick in the head, twisted, reject, lonely, sad, unapproachable, unstable, violent, scary, outcast, loser. Written all over the front for everybody to see, think, say, and believe about you. Just imagine wearing this every day. These untruths, these fake news, but it's written all over the front. It's not nice. We should not be doing this. We should change this within our society. But imagine that. Now imagine your thoughts and your feelings about these words that are written all over the front of you, or the person's thoughts and feelings. Maybe they're written on the back of the board, what they're feeling and their thoughts, having this written all over the front. Imagine the thoughts and feelings that you have about yourself, having this written all over this sandwich board. Imagine what that's like. Imagine now that's for somebody who is already struggling with their mental health. How difficult that is, and how difficult that society has made that for them. And we're asking people, for them to reach out to us. We're going to talk about that at the end, about reaching out and supporting each other and making that contact with each other. And we're asking them to reach out. No, it's the other way around. If you're in a good place, we need to reach out to them. I'll talk about that at the end. Okay, so think about that, walking around with all these words. I'm going to get rid of those, don't like them. Let's get those off the board. Now let's start with a new sandwich board, shall we? And now imagine walking around with these words written all over the front of your sandwich board. You're struggling with your mental health, and this is what's written on your board. Brave, strong, courageous, bold, caring, coping, non-judgmental, resilient, listener, empathetic, loved, cared for. Unfortunately, there's not many. As I say, we do this on our courses sometimes. We ask people to do this list. We have one list for the negative words. Sometimes it's like, stop, stop, stop. We haven't got any room to put on here. There's so many negative words. And then we say, let's look at the positive words. Not a lot. That's not great. We need to change society on this. We need to reframe how we think about mental health, particularly poor mental health or mental ill health. We need to use different words. If you remember, back in not so long ago, what was splashed all over the national newspapers when Gaza, Paul Gascoigne, had his breakdown. I'm not going to use the words because it's just not nice, not nasty, but it was splashed all over the front of the newspapers. It's not happening as much now, but it still is. Frank Bruno, what happened with him? Britney Spears. Recently, Caroline Flack, what happened with her? And what that did to her. We need to change our words. We need to reframe society's view of mental health, or poor mental health, or mental ill health, don't we? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Have a think about that. Think about the words you use every day, and even just the thoughts, our unconscious thoughts, and try and reframe that, change those words that we use, change how we think about people who are struggling with their mental health or have a mental health illness. As I said, I was going to talk quickly about that Make the Call challenge. I'm going to do this as much as I can. The Make the Call challenge is lots of different things, but the really important part about that is making that call. And it's making that call to somebody you think might be struggling right now. It doesn't matter whether they have a severe mental illness or they're just struggling with life right now, particularly right now with COVID and the lockdown, or coming out of lockdown, or whether it's home life, work life, financial, whatever it is, or just struggling with life right now. Please reach out to them. Don't think they need to reach out to you to get your support. You reach out to them and make that call. Make that phone call, or send a text, or a WhatsApp message, or Facebook message, or whatever it is make that call and just check in with them. Invite them out for a walk. Go for a walk or a cycle ride. I like going out for cycle rides. Make that call. Go and have a coffee. But make that call. When you do meet up with them, you don't have to fix them. You're not there to fix them. Just be there for them. Silence is great. You know, if you're going for a walk with somebody, if there's silence, don't feel awkward about that silence. Just let that silence be. So make the call and have a think about your words and thoughts around mental health. And if people around you are using words that are just not appropriate, pick them up on them. Tell them what you've learned today. Let's change society's view of mental health. Thank you for listening or watching and listening. Goodbye.